Hello, YouTube. I'm sorry I'm a few minutes late. Wow, what was that chord I just played? Sorry I'm a few minutes late to the live video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me here at Worship Tutorials Live on YouTube. Let me know if you can hear me okay, see me okay. As always, I had some issues with my software for live. My system is not great. But hopefully you can see me and hear me okay. So the purpose of this video is just wanted to play a few songs, worship songs. If you have some requests, let me know. I'll monitor comments over here. Say hey, say where you're from. I don't know. Say something interesting about yourself. Most interesting person wins. Nick Rice already said he he was drinking a protein shake with a straw, that he misses me, and I miss him very much. He sees me and hears me. Thanks, Nick. I love you too, my friend. You're my brother. Okay, come back to North Carolina, Nick. We'll put you in more YouTube videos. Okay, so first thing is, let's see. I was going to, I'm gonna play a new song, and I'll just talk a little bit before we get started. Give people time to tune in. I'm going to play a new song called, I guess it's new, it's not that new. Well, it's kind of new. Peace Be Still by The Belonging Company, Lauren Daigle. I actually recorded a larger version of this song. It's in a style that I'm gonna call it coffee house. It's cajon and keys and guitars and pads. I think there's bass in it too. So that'll be coming on the channel. That's the next song video I'm going to be working on uploading. So look for that, but I'm going to play it acoustic here. I have an original I'd like to play as well. It's one that I've uploaded before, but I thought it'd be fun to play an original. And then, you know, if you have any... I have a story to tell you about my last week, which was interesting. And then we'll just do some Q&A. So if you have questions about anything, ask me anything. I'll answer. Maybe. We'll see. All right, so this is Peace Be Still. Let's see who we got here. Oregon. Someone from Oregon, someone from Atlanta, Georgia, someone from Kansas, hello. Someone from Nebraska, hello to you. Hey, if you're in Kansas, I went to college in Kansas, which is also not far from Nebraska. I went to college in Hillsboro, Kansas at Tabor College. Seems like a long time ago. Let's see. From Bavaria. Okay, nice. All right. From Mumbai, India. Alaska. Man, there's people here from everywhere. That is so cool. If you're just tuning, or if you're watching this video after the fact and you're wondering where are all these comments and people talking, YouTube does not save live comments. I wish they did. But you got to catch a live show. I'm going to try and do it more consistently on Friday afternoons at 4 p.m. Eastern time. But, you know, if you're watching this after it's live, leave a comment below. Say hi, say who you are, where are you from, tell me something interesting about you. West Palm Beach. We got a lot of elevation worship requests. We'll see what happens. Overcome was one. That's a good song. Okay, so someone from Kingman is only an hour and a half from Hillsboro, where I went to college. Lots of Tabor alums there. Very cool. Bradford Mitchell is with us in the comments. He's in his car. I assume he's somewhere around North Carolina or perhaps Virginia. Someone from Romania, from Hawaii, from Memphis, Tennessee. If people are watching this video afterwards, it's just me rattling off places people are from. They're going to be like, this video is pretty boring. All right, I want to play a song. Here we go. This is Peace Be Still. Lauren Daigle, The Belonging Company. Goes like this. Be afraid every time I face the waves. I don't wanna be afraid. You know what? Before we start, I'm gonna stop. I need some reverb on my voice. I'm trying out a new thing here, you know. Check. You hear that? Is there reverb now? I sound like I'm in a cave. All right. It's super weird when you're just talking, but you know, for singing a song, it's nice. Hold on a second. Okay, now I'm back. Oh, I covered up my chord chart. I don't wanna be afraid every time I face the waves. I don't wanna be afraid. I don't wanna be afraid. I don't wanna fear the storm. Just because I hear it roar. I don't wanna fear the storm. I don't wanna fear the storm. Peace, be still, say the word, and I will set my feet upon the sea until I'm dancing in the deep. And peace, be still, you are here, so it is well. Even when my eyes can't see, I will trust the voice that speaks. I'm not gonna be afraid, 'cause these waves are only waves. I'm not gonna be afraid. I'm not gonna be afraid. I'm not gonna fear the storm. You are greater than its roar. I'm not gonna fear the storm. Oh, I'm not gonna fear it all. Peace, be still, say the word, and I will set my feet upon the sea until I'm dancing in the deep. And peace, be still, you are here, so it is well. Even when my eyes can't see, I will trust the voice that speaks. Peace, and peace over me. Let faith rise up, oh heart, believe. Let faith rise up in me. Let faith rise up, oh heart, believe. Let faith rise up in me. Let faith rise up, oh heart, believe. Let faith rise up in me. Let faith rise up, oh heart, believe. Let faith rise up in me. Peace, be still, say the word, and I will set my feet upon the sea until I'm dancing in the deep. Oh, peace, be still, you are here, so it is well. Even when my eyes can't see, I will trust the voice that speaks. Oh, peace, and peace over me. Okay, I gotta turn the reverb off because again it sounds super weird with reverb while you talk without like playing music. So I have a feeling, well, okay, let me know whether you can hear this in stereo or not, because I feel like something's going weird on my capture the way I'm going live. I don't know if it's... Tell me if the audio went weird or if it's just fine. Let me know. I don't know. I'm having problems. I need a better solution. I think I've got one. Anyway, I had a question during that. What song was that? Okay, the song is Peace Be Still by The Belonging Company is the name of the album. It's actually the name of a church in Nashville. The Belonging Company song Peace Be Still. It's featuring Lauren Daigle on the album. So, really cool song. What strings do I use on my guitar? I use on acoustic guitar. I use Elixir's Polyweb. I don't like the nano web ones as much. I don't know if that's what these are. Yeah, you can tell these are elixirs. I can see it because I can see the little coating start to fray off over here on where I hit the strings with my pick. What IEMs do I use? These are 1964 ears. They used to be called 1964 ears. Now it's 1964 audio. 1964 ears V6 stage model. I don't know if they offer that as an option anymore. I bought them several years ago. So I have some throat coat tea here that I'm going to drink. Don't you love that? The sound of like somebody slurping on let me get close to the mic. Half of you just left because that sound is gross. All right. I'm going to do another song. This is an original. I've uploaded this to the channel before. Also, by the way, I played a whole bunch of wrong chords in that last song. So wait for the video and the tutorial to come out if you want to learn it. Don't go by what I just played. Okay, this is called I Will Send My Son. It's an original I wrote years ago. And after this, we'll just hang out and talk, do some Q&A. I gave you a garden, perfect and good. You had everything you wanted, but you still took the fruit. Hold on, I gotta turn that reverb back on. I forgot about it. There we go. And I gave you a nation, like I said that I would. Everything that I promised, I forgot the word, came true. But you still took the fruit. And for all the wrong you've done, for all the sins of the world, everyone, all because of my love. My love, I will send my son, and he'll take it all away, and he'll take it all away. And I made you my children, called you daughters and sons. I will give you life everlasting, all because of my love. And for all the wrong you've done, for all the sins of the everyone, all because of my love, my love. I will send my son, he'll take it all the way, he'll take it all away. Death here, and there will be no more lying obey. I will wipe every tear away. I'll take it all away. I'll take it all away. For all the wrong you've done, for all the sins of the world, everyone, all because of my love, my love. send my son, and he took it all away. He took it all away. He took it all away. All right, so no more reverb. Okay, there we go. Okay, saw a few questions in there. Thank you, Timothy. He said nice playing, guitar playing and singing. Okay, so a few questions. I saw, what was that song I just joined? That was an original song of mine called I Will Send My Son. There's a YouTube video of it, just an acoustic playthrough. But I'm gonna record it, like a legit recording of it. Do it as good as I can anyway. Give it a college try and make it available on iTunes, Spotify, that kind of thing. I have a handful of originals that I'd like to record. That's just one of them. I haven't written songs in a long time, but anyway. Let's see. What were some more questions? A couple questions about worship services and songs and that kind of thing I saw. Let's see. Where did they go? How do you, what was it? How do you structure a worship service? Is that what somebody asked? I don't know. These comments flew by and now I can't find them. Where did it go? Where did it go? Now this is exciting video content right here. Hey, this guy is scrolling and looking for a comment that he can't find. 30 seconds later, he's still doing it. So, Jamie Huntington says, I'm just going to start answering questions. What is your favorite Martin guitar to lead worship with? It would be this one. This is a Martin CEO7. It has got to be my all-time favorite acoustic guitar I've ever played. Now, I've played, there's one, that I don't know if you can see that one. That's a Martin D35. That's like the old standby for me. I've had it for years and years. I love it. I wanted something a little smaller bodied, though, especially for recording, because the dreadnoughts can be really boomy on the low end. So, like, when you're recording with them, there's a lot of, like, boom and flub on the low end that you don't want. Sounds great in a room. And so these smaller bodied acoustics have a little more focused mid-range, and they cut in a mix a little better. And then I found this one. I bought it used, and it turns out like it is the best guitar. I love it so much. I've played a lot of guitars. I've played Collings. I've played Mac. Who makes it? Really expensive guitars. Can't think of the name right now. Anyway, I've played some really high-end acoustics. I've played one that was like a $10,000 guitar. I would take this over every single one of them. Now these aren't cheap, but it's not $10,000. And I saw a question too about LR Bag's Anthem. Why did I put it in? I had in that guitar, in that D35, I had a K&K Pure Western Mini pickup, which is a great pickup. But I wanted a little more out of it. I wanted a little more sparkle, realistic, sound like a mic'd acoustic. And I kept reading about how great the Anthem pickups are, and I put one in, and it is the best acoustic pickup I've ever heard. So I put one in here too. Actually, when I bought this one used, the previous owner had already put it in. So, job done. I found exactly what I wanted. Okay. Let me see if I can find some more of these comments. Here's a comment, while I make keyboard tutorials. I'm not a keys player. I know enough to get myself in trouble. And if I transpose the keyboard so that I'm always playing in the key of C, I can kind of play. But I'm not going to make keyboard tutorials. I'm not the guy for you. I probably know some people who could, but there's a couple websites. One that I really like called worshipartistry.com. Check them out. They have a lot of good stuff. Okay. Any suggestions for a home studio setup for doing amateur recordings? Sure. The Focusrite, you need an audio interface. You need a few things for a home studio. You need a interface, a recording interface, and you need a microphone. That's basically it. And then you need some software, but you can get that stuff for almost free. So the Focusrite recording interfaces are really good. I saw Paul Neckhorn. Did I say your name right? Said he has a Focusrite 2i2. I don't know the names of all of them, But yeah, the Focusrite stuff is really good. And you can get the little 2-channel one. I think you could probably get it for around $100. And then if you spend another $100 on any kind of decent large diaphragm condenser microphone. So what I use is an Audio-Technica, AKG C214. That's a little more than like $100. I think they're like $400 new. And I really like that microphone. And I also use a Shure SM7B for vocals. Sort of a legendary mic that a lot of people have used. I run that stuff into a Universal Audio Apollo. Now that might be a little higher price point than when you're just starting out. So I would start with a Focusrite or an M-Audio or a Presonus. Any of those brands make interfaces in that price range, and then find a microphone. And there's a ton of microphones out there. Just do a little bit of research, and like research what kind of voice you have. Like if you're a male vocalist, certain mics work better than others. That would be my suggestion. And you'll need some monitors too. M-Audio makes a pair of powered 5-inch monitors. You can use headphones, but monitors are better. I use the Tannoy Reveal 5-inch monitors. That's what I use, Tannoy Reveal. And I have an older version of them. I got them like on clearance for cheap. So anyway, that's what I would suggest. More questions. How do you structure your worship services? That's what I remember seeing. Number of songs. We actually have a video that we put out about how we do that. So usually what we do is this. We have a few songs up front, and then we have a welcome and announcement time where we'll sing a few songs. Our pastor will come up and do a welcome, give the announcements, that kind of thing. And then we'll do another song or two, and then we go to the message. And then we have a song after the message. And so we'll receive our offering. It's always, the thing about structuring a worship service is where do you put the announcements and the offering? So we usually put the announcements up front. Sometimes our pastor will just give the announcements from stage right before his message. Now we are a multi-site church, so our broadcast campus streams the message to all of our other campuses. So I'm typically at a campus where the message is video, but it's live. All the bands are live at every campus. And so usually we receive the offering either in that announcement time, like right before the song, before the message, or right as we sing we call it the response song. That's pretty much how we do it every time. We play around with that model, with that formula. Okay. Aiden asked, what inspired me to write the song that I just sang, I Will Send My Son. It's a story of the gospel, right? But it's written from the perspective of God. I just thought that would be interesting. So I kind of went Adam and Eve in the garden, the fall, the redemption of mankind through the blood of Jesus Christ on the cross and the resurrection, and then eternity in heaven. Those are what the verses cover. And the whole point of the song is God loves us so much that he would choose to send his son to die for us so that we could receive salvation from our sins. So that's pretty much the inspiration behind the song. It's just the story of the gospel told in a little bit different way. Anyway, okay. Have I played a rocksmith? Hercules! Have I played a rocksmith? I don't know what a rocksmith is. Is that a guitar? Is that an amp? I'm not sure. So the answer is no. Okay, I haven't. Maybe I should check it out. The acoustic guitar room and guitar center makes me feel like I'm inside of a tree, Jamie Huntington says. It is all lined with like cedar or something. I don't know. It does feel like you're in a log cabin or something. I don't know. I wonder why they do that. I wonder if it's the sound, like there's less reflection off the wood. Anyway, I don't know. But it's kind of a cool vibe, but it's also a little bit like log cabin-y for me. I don't know. You can see by the decor in this room, I don't really go for that aesthetic so much. Anyway, okay. This is fun. Song picking process. Daniel Bustamante. Did I say that correctly? Bustamante? Are you from? Where are you from? That'd be interesting to know. Okay. How do we pick songs? We have a team of. We're like I said earlier. We're a multi-site church. That means our church is about 5,000 or 6,000 people. all told, like at all of our campuses. So we have, I think, around 8 campuses. And so every physical campus has a worship leader, like different, we have campuses all around the area in central North Carolina in the United States of America. And so every campus has a worship leader on staff, full-time staff worship leader. So it sort of makes up our team of worship leaders. And we all sort of pick songs together. Our pastor often will input, like if he wants to sing a song in a particular thing, or is like he's heard a song that really spoke to him. He's like, let's think about doing this song. But the 6 or 7 worship leaders on our staff, we listen to a lot of songs, and we'll kind of come together. We'll have meetings where we'll say, let's check out these songs, and we discuss like a lot of it has to do with the culture of our church, what kind of things we want our church to sing about. So that's a very personal decision for every church, I believe. A lot of churches write for their own congregations, which is cool, but if you're going to sing a song, if you're going to write a song and sing it in your church, it better be good. I'm just saying that. It better be good, because there are so many great songs out there. So yeah, I would definitely test a song before you just, hey, I wrote a song, we're going to sing it. Kind of like what I just did in this video, but this isn't a church service, so I would never sing that song in my church unless all the other worship leaders heard it and were like, dude, you have to sing that song in your church. Then I would say, oh, okay, maybe we should. But I wouldn't let my ego just go, hey, I'm going to sing a song I wrote. Anyway, I don't know, I'm going off on a tangent there. Jonah Ullman says, this live feed is good, ridiculously good. How do you make it so that you can add effects as you sing? Well, thank you, Jonah. I use a Universal Audio Apollo, and I'm running, my microphone is right here. You can't see it on camera. It's right above the lens. So that mic is feeding into the Apollo. The Apollo has, Universal Audio has their own software and plugins, so I'm applying plugins on the audio before it goes out live. But it's all in real time with no latency, which is really cool. So what you're hearing is an emulation of a Neve 88 RS channel strip, which is good, and then a compressor, and then a limiter. So you basically got EQ, compression, limiter, and then when I was singing the song, I turned a reverb on from Universal Audio as well. So that's how you're hearing all that stuff. And the video is just straight out of my camera. It's a Sony A9. That's the camera I use. That's my main camera. Okay. Do we start with an upbeat song? Always? Or do you ever start with a slower song? Usually we start with a more upbeat song. Usually, because energy is really good, and so we always try to get high energy in our services, and that's just kind of the culture of our church. Sometimes we start with a slower song. It works sometimes, but it's very rare. Usually it's a more upbeat song. So, okay. I feel like there's a lot of comments that I'm missing because I'm way back in the comment thread. So I'm going to scroll down. If I miss one of your comments, I'm sorry. Does our church, Micah asked, does our church have full-time tech directors on staff? What do we look for in a candidate when hiring? Yes, we do. We have, so our largest campus has a production director is full-time. Our other campuses have part-time production directors. We call them producers. That's the title, producers. So you have to be able to multitask. You have to be able to solve problems at the drop of a hat. For us, you have to be competent in our systems that we use. So audio, video stuff, and a lot of times what we do is we'll have volunteers who just do really well and learn it really well, and we'll hire our volunteers from inside of our church. That happens a lot. So hopefully that's helpful. So let's see. Last year, Ocean Hitchcock says his lung collapsed, or her. I don't know if it's a man or a woman. Ocean could go either way. Their lung collapsed and had surgery twice. Wow. Well, thank you. And said I inspired me to keep pushing and write. Oh, they wrote some songs. That's cool. Share that. Share your story with people. Make a video about it or something. I have a story to tell. Not quite like that, but I did say I have a story to tell. Last week I was pretty sick. It was just a cold, but it like took me down, and I I couldn't talk. I had no voice hardly, so I couldn't even speak for a few days out of the week, and I couldn't sing at all for the whole week. And so I knew I had to lead worship on Sunday. I actually went to the doctor, and the doctor, this was on Thursday. Doctor said, I told her, I'm a worship leader in a church. I need to be able to sing Sundays. Is there anything you can do for me? And she said, yeah, you're not going to be able to sing Sunday. You really shouldn't. You're going to hurt yourself. I kind of like, I'm sorry, but you don't know where, you don't know what I do. You don't know where I lead worship. I have to sing Sunday. I only sang one song, so my team was awesome. They took a lot of the, I was going to sing a few more, but we changed keys so some of our female worship leaders on the team could sing, which helped me. But I couldn't sing all week. So it really made me think, though. I got really introspective during that period. And I thought, you know, what if my voice never comes back? And it's become, my voice is such a part of what I do, both like as a worship leader here at Worship Tutorials. I sing songs, I teach songs. And I thought, and I thought this, I thought, you know, God, and I'm not saying this to say I have some great voice, but I use it, you know. And so God gave me the voice that I have. And he was gracious enough that it was a good enough voice that people hire me to sing, you know, and that I've been able to do worship tutorials. But God could take that away from me. The Bible says that God gives and he takes away. And, you know, I have chosen to use the gift God has given me to give it back to him, to glorify him, which is what we are to do with the things that God gives us. We're to give it back. But there are seasons in life, and this is true. This is biblical. So, you know, God could choose to take my voice away from me. And it would be my responsibility to continue to worship God and continue to proclaim that God is good and to find other ways to serve God that don't involve my voice. I just thought about that. And I thought, if you're a worship leader or a vocalist or you play an instrument or something, like, don't take for granted the fact that God gave you a gift or an ability or the capacity to learn a skill. And don't take for granted, don't stop giving him thanks for that, and make sure that you use it to glorify him. And if he chooses to take it from you, then that's what his plan is for you. And so I just thought, like, what would I do? What would I do? Who would I be? One of the things that I thought was, who would I even be if I didn't have my voice? Because it's become a part of who I am to me. How I identify with myself. Yeah, I'm a worship leader. I sing. I play guitar. I run this YouTube channel where I sing and I do covers of stuff. And it was a sobering thought. So yeah, I kind of thought, oh, well, I would still be me, I think, but my life would be so different. But what would I do? Interesting thought. I don't know. Ponder that. All right. More questions. More questions. Hi from Canada. Rocksmith. Okay, so we had a question about, have I played Rocksmith? Rocksmith is a video game where you use a real guitar, like not a video game controller guitar, but a real guitar. I've not played that. I have played a little bit of what's the real popular video game that came out years ago. I don't know. I always found it. I think it's way easier to play real guitar than that guitar for some reason. Rockstar. I don't know what it's called. Okay. Is Machine? Joel Baker says, is Native Instruments Machine a good alternative to a live drummer? Joel, you're probably referring to the video I did with David, Divic Music. So I'll let you in on a secret. That was a prop. So we recorded that ahead of time. Although I did play the loop. I mean, we recorded a loop, and I did play the loop on the pads. I wasn't actually playing anything, although it could have been connected to software, and I could have been triggering samples. I wouldn't, you know, if you don't have a drummer, I would just do the best you can without a drummer. I would make whatever worship experience you can make with whatever instrumentation you have as good as you can do it. I think that if you do drum loops without a drummer, this brings up an interesting point about loops and tracks, multi-tracks and that kind of thing. if you do that without a drummer or percussionist, it starts to look really fake, and I don't think that's worth doing personally. So if it's just you and a guitar, I would just get as good as you can get with you and a guitar and work hard to recruit people, because there are people out there that will be able to play with you. Okay, how do I play Resurrection Power? I don't know that song. I've seen that. Maybe it's the same person asking several times, but I've heard of that song. I don't know that I know it, so I don't know how to play it. Sorry. Maybe I'll look it up and do a tutorial on it. Okay, somebody has subscribed to Paul on YouTube. Maybe I'll do that as well, Paul. I don't know that. Do I know your channel? Maybe I do. I don't know. Okay. Somebody asked about the Helix. I am a huge Helix fan, line 6. Should I save up for the LT? Oh, Stevon Matthews says, should I save up for the Helix LT or the regular Helix? You know what? That brings up a point. I did a little something with this live broadcast. I have an electric guitar with me, and I have the Helix down here on the floor. You maybe can't, I'm not going to try and pick it up and show you. The Helix is down here, and it's running into the Apollo. So I just want to see if I can play it. See if you can hear that. You're going to hear the click of the, you're going to hear the acoustic. You know, this is what it sounds like without the Helix on. Line 6 put out these brand new reverbs. They sound really good. So here's a question. Tell me if you can hear that. Can you hear this electric guitar audio coming through? I see somebody said nope, no audio. Let me know if you can hear that. Question, can I make a soundboard tutorial for church? Oh, you mean like audio? Like the board? Yeah, that'd be interesting. I think there are probably a lot of people who do that already that would probably do it better than I do. Let's see. I don't know. Maybe we use Behringer X32. Actually, most of our campuses are moving toward the Midas M32. So if you don't know, Midas is a you can't hear the Helix, just acoustic, no electric. Well, that's a bummer. Oh well, maybe next time. I'm gonna try it again so you tell me. I see the audio. You can't hear that, huh? Like, right now I'm gonna play Swells, and it's just beautiful modulated ambient reverb. So if you can't hear that, you are missing out. But you can't hear it. Okay, well, I'm not gonna try that anymore. Put that away. Figure out a new way to make that happen. I thought for sure that would work. I don't know why it's not working. Whatever. Oh well. Still no sound. No sound, no sound, no sound. Okay. I get it. It doesn't work. Okay. It's not a matter of turning it up. So if you can't hear it, that's because something's not getting from the Helix to the video for whatever reason. I don't know. I just need a different... I know what I need to do. I need a different piece of equipment that will let me do this. Black Magic Design has like all these live video switchers. So I know a lot about live video because my church does live video. We stream the message to all the campuses, so... mic and an amp, Jonas. Yeah, the mic and an amp would do it. You know, the other thing I could do, Jonah, is totally I could just plug my Helix into one of my monitors and just play it and you'd hear it. But I wanted you to hear like the plugged in sound, not like the sound of a mic in a room. So I'll figure that out. Okay, Steven says you didn't answer my question. Answer my question. Should I get the Helix LT or the Helix? So the difference is, here's the difference. The LT does not have the scribble strips. Which I personally like a lot because you can name the stuff that's in it that are on your switches, right? You can name your snapshots. Now you do get a screen that shows you like a representation of what's what, but it's not just right above it. The other thing that the Helix LT lacks are input and output. I don't think there are as many effects loops in the Helix LT. So if you want to use a lot of outboard stuff, like your other pedals with the Helix, and you want to put them in different places in your signal chain, the Helix is probably the way to go. If that's not something you really care about, then the LT will do you just fine. They sound exactly the same. There's no difference in the way they sound. So, you know, if the scribble strips aren't a big deal to you, or if you think you could just get around them, not having them, you wouldn't mind them. Maybe you wouldn't know what you're missing if you never had the Helix. But I would personally go for a Helix. But if budget is really tight and the LT is all you can swing, then that thing will work just fine. Carlos Castillo says, "It's my birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Carlos. Happy birthday to you." It's kind of in the key of G. Okay. Brian, answer me, please. Any chance of bass videos? Probably not, Ren. I'm not a bass player. So, again, I always tell... Sorry, that was kind of harsh. Probably not, no. I'm not a bass player, so... And in fact, I have a bass, but it currently doesn't work. I need to fix it. So, I would check out worshipartistry.com. Worshipartistry.com. It's not a free website, but the monthly subscription fee is cheap. And they're great content. So, okay. Roger Hage says, "What style of guitar would I recommend?" Well, Roger, that depends on lots of things. What do you want to sound like? What kind of music do you play? What kind of budget do you play? Anyway, answer some of those questions and maybe I can recommend one for you. Do I recommend always playing in the key of G? No, I don't. Henny 8? 8 Henny 8? No, it depends. So, like, a song in... So, here's an interesting thing. One song in the key of D will have a completely different range than another song in the key of D, for example. It just depends on where in the scale the melody of the song falls. So, each song is different. You know, you have to take it song by song. And a lot of times what you hear in the recorded version is pretty high for a lot of people. And the reason that is, the reason why artists record so high, you might wonder that, is they want, if you sing toward the top of your range, there's a lot more energy in your voice. So when an artist records a song, they want the most out of their voice they can get. That means singing close to the top of their range for the biggest part of the song. But you should find where the song fits your range the best. And that could be any key for any song. It just depends on what the song is or where the melody lies in that song. Okay. So, Carlos Castillo cannot afford a Martin guitar. Actually, Carlos, there are some pretty affordable Martins that are really nice. So maybe you're asking about acoustics. I recommend the Martin 001AX something or other. It's 000 body style, which is kind of like this. This is a 00, but it doesn't have any electronics. I think it's like, for used, you can get it for about $350 here in the U.S. Which is a really good deal for that guitar. Okay. Okay, love the Sunday vlogs, Josh says. Josh, I regret to inform you the Sunday vlogs are dead. I'm sorry. They have died and I have not resurrected them. Part of it is because Nick Rice, who was in this, I don't know, Nick, if you're still there. Nick Rice, you know, he got married and moved away. And I'll never be the same. But Nick ran the cameras for me on this. So without Nick, it's really hard for me to do them until I find someone else who can take his place. But Nick's shoes are quite large to fill. I don't know if anyone could do it. So somebody probably could, but I haven't found him yet. But I love you, Nick. You're the best. Okay. I agree. Is Christian metal worship okay? Does the Helix compare to... So I had a couple questions about metal music. Metal, like headbang, like that kind of stuff. I don't really get into metal myself, but here's the thing: the Bible does not, and this is the thing about worship wars or whatever you want to call it, what sounds are appropriate or not. The Bible doesn't really say. There's no precedent for like hymns or, you know, and by the way, hymns once were brand new songs, and most of them were songs that were rewritten from like Irish bar, you know, songs. So it's like Irish drinking songs that became, not all of them, but some of them, became hymns, and now people refer to those so reverently, and they should because of the lyrical content, but like the music is irrelevant in my opinion. So it just depends on your church. What is the culture of your church? Do you want to reach like a group of people that really loves metal, you know, music that you know, because everybody needs to be reached with the gospel. And so if your church has you have a killer band that does metal stuff, like play worship music. I'm fairly certain there is worship music out there in that style, but like you'll reach people that you wouldn't reach doing like Hillsong. Or hymns or more traditional music or whatever. So we need all kinds of churches to reach all kinds of people. I'm convinced of this. And if we don't try and reach people, then we're not fulfilling the Great Commission. And so, and the other argument to that is, well, you're making your music worldly. I don't agree with that. It's not the music itself that's evil or not or whatever. It's what you're singing about and who you're lifting up and who you're worshiping. So anyway, that's my take on it. Hopefully that's helpful. So do you change? Let's see. Somebody asked me what my go-to electric guitar is. And it's right here. It's this. This is the Shelton Electric Instruments Skyflight 4. This thing does everything, and it sounds awesome. I'll give you a quick little rundown. Although I do know that you can't hear it, but I'll just say this. This is a Porter 60s Strat neck. I think it's 60s, and I think this one's 50s. This is a 50s Strat middle. This is a custom Strat bridge, and that is an S90, which is a P90 in a Strat housing. So these are two separate pickups wired together, two single coils wired together, and every one of these knobs is a push-pull. So the first one, when you pull it, turns the neck on. So if you're in the bridge position, you turn this neck on, you have bridge and neck. So you can go neck, you can go neck and middle, you can go middle and neck, again because that's on, or just middle. You can go middle and bridge, and then you can go just bridge, and then you can turn this on, like in this position, all four pickups are on. Now these push-pull pots, you probably didn't want to know all this, but this is what I love. Okay, now these push-pull pots turn on and off these pickups. So when you pull this one, it turns this off. So you pull this out, you have a single coil P90 in the bridge. When you pull this one out, you have a single coil Strat in the bridge. You pull them both out, the bridge is turned off. Okay, so so you can have any pickup combination you want out of these four pickups. It's ridiculous. Then you've got volume, tone, and then this is a series blend. So if you're familiar with a Strat, Stratocasters have a quack sound in the 2 and 4 position. So when you have the bridge in the middle and the neck in the middle, they have a quack sound. It's very unique. You can roll that out with the phase switch so it does not quack. It's pretty cool. So this is my go-to guitar. Not to mention, it is the best feeling and playing guitar I've ever played in my entire life. This is the world's greatest guitar, in my opinion. Shelton Electric Instruments. They're not like affordable, but they're worth every penny. I promise you. Okay. Next question. Can Fuller do? Can Fuller do the Sunday vlogs with me? Well, Fuller is extremely busy on Sunday mornings. So Nick. I hired Nick to do that, so his only job was to, his only job on Sunday mornings was to film with me and just make the vlog fun. And so I could not do that with Fuller. With Fuller, I would have access to Fuller, you know, for maybe half an hour on Sunday because he's leading worship, but he is our worship director, global worship arts director. He's my boss at church, basically. He's in leadership over all the worship leaders. So Fuller would not be a good person to do the vlog, to help me with the vlog. Although I love it when he's in the vlog, when he was in the vlog. Do I run the Helix direct to the board or do I amp it? I never ever run it into an amp. In fact, I don't even own an amp. Although I do own... can't get it. It's over there. I bought a Kemper. So, I have a Kemper. So watch for Helix versus Kemper videos coming soon. But no, I don't run the Helix to an amp ever, or a speaker. I just run it straight to the board. That's the best way to do it. Here at home, when I run it into my Apollo, and then I listen to it through my monitors, through my speakers. That's how I make all the patches and everything. So let's see. Ren says, our church is weak in the lead electric guitar department, so maybe the person who plays that is not as skilled as they would like. Is it better to have no effects or poorly done effects? That's a good question. I'm the only pedal user and he plays bass. Here's what I would suggest, Ren. Whoever it is that plays lead guitar for you, if you know how to use effects, like, you have to do this delicately, because it's like, you can't just say, I've noticed that you don't know what you're doing with these things. You can't say that. But maybe you could teach them. So I'm sure they would love to learn how to, like, make the sounds that they hear on the albums. And so actually at Worship Tutorials, I am planning with Bradford to do, like, more gear-related reviews, but not just, like, reviewing a guitar or reviewing a pedal, but, like, actually teaching you how to use the stuff that you have. So how to use a reverb pedal, how to use a delay pedal, how to use overdrive, how do you set your amp and your overdrive up so that you get specific sounds. That is coming. I'm real excited about that. Bradford is super excited about it. Bradford is like a mastermind when it comes to that stuff. I'm not as knowledgeable as him, so that's why he's doing it with me. Okay. Let's see. Do I ever use iRig? I've never used iRig, Tony. Okay. No, I've never tried it. It seems pretty cool, though. All right. Jensen asked, do I run stereo in-ears at my church? I do. So some campuses I have the luxury of having a stereo in-ear mix, and some I'm mono. So it really, when you can go stereo, it's awesome, because especially as a worship leader, I really want to hear everything, so I can, if somebody's playing something wrong or singing something that doesn't feel right, I can offer feedback for that. And so with a stereo mix, you can pan things left and right. Which is really nice, and it makes it sound so much better. But a lot of places I just run mono as well, so it just depends on where I am leading that Sunday. I kind of hop around a lot at my church. I kind of go where I'm needed. So Roger says, I don't have a particular sound. Just want an opinion. Well, you were asking about what kind of guitar I recommend. Well, do you want an acoustic guitar or an electric guitar? And if you want to spend a little bit of money or a lot of money, those are the questions that you would need to ask. If you want like a budget electric guitar, a Fender Telecaster is probably my choice. But then you're going to need an amp and maybe pedals and stuff too. Or you could buy a Squier Classic Vibe, or what are they called? Squier Vintage Modified or Classic. Those are really good budget guitars. I'd buy a Telecaster. For an acoustic guitar, I would buy a Martin. There's a video that I made with Bryce called The Best Cheap Acoustic Guitar and Electric Guitar and Amp. I would watch that. You can find it on the channel. But those are my recommendations. The Firehawk effect. So I've been asked, so there's a question about the Firehawk. That's the Line 6 Firehawk, right? That's the thing that like replaced the Pod XT. Or not replaced, but is in the same vein as the Pod HT500X. That looks really cool. I've never played with a Firehawk, so maybe getting a hold of a Firehawk and making patches would be fun. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. Do I know how to play any other instruments? Timothy asks. I know how to play... I learned how to play the trombone in junior high and high school. And let's see, I learned how to play the piano when I was a kid, so I can still play a little bit of piano. I can play a little bit of bass, but guitar is my main instrument. So, Jonah asks, if I'd done live stuff on Instagram, would I be able to create the same quality on Instagram? I don't know, Jonah. I think Instagram only lets you go live with your phone I may be wrong there, so it just depends on your phone. For YouTube, you can set up like what I've got, like a camera and a microphone, and run it into some effects, so it can look much more professional. But for Instagram, I'm not sure. You might be able to do that and send it to Instagram. Depends on. I use a free version of software called Wirecast to send it out, so maybe they can do that. I'm not sure. I've not looked into Instagram. I have gone live on Instagram, but only with my phone. That's it. Same for Facebook. I think I can go live on Facebook with a more elaborate setup, but YouTube is home for me, so I haven't really explored those other platforms. Jamie misses Bryce. I miss Bryce too. Actually, I see Bryce from time to time. Bryce hasn't gone anywhere. But we're all pretty busy, so it's kind of hard for us to make videos together. Tony says, you are getting bigger. Time to grow your company. Tony, I thought for a second you were referring to the size of my body, which is true. I was going to say, he's noticed. Okay. I have gained some weight. I don't know where that came from. Time to grow your company. Yeah, I've thought about hiring people, actually. I used to hire, so Nick, if Nick is still here, Nick worked for me part-time, and he did camera work for me, he did the vlog stuff, he did some editing for me. So Nick moved to the other side of the country. He lives in Washington State now, near Seattle. Maybe I should do that. Yes, it might help. MSG flavor, like MSG, like the compound that they put in food, MSG, asks a good question. How do you handle worship team members who overplay? So that's a good question, and I found that it happens a lot with piano players, anybody, drums, bass, overplay. You gotta teach that stuff. So there's a teaching, and I've heard it taught by multiple people, but like the sum of your instrumentation needs to be, pick a number, 1 or 10 or whatever, say it's 10. Say you have, so the sum of your instrumentation is 10 or 100%. You have 7 people on your stage. If they all play at a 6 out of 10, you're going to have way too much going on. If you have 2 people on stage, you can play a 5 out of 10 each, how much you're playing. But if you have 10 people on stage, you can only play 1 out of 10. So that's the concept. You don't want to overplay and make things too sound too congested, too muddy, too complicated. But it comes with teaching and coaching. And so as a worship leader, if you're a worship leader and you notice somebody who's overplaying, I wouldn't just say, hey, you play too much. I would make note of it and take a moment to research that concept and teach it, and then come alongside them and say, I've noticed sometimes you're more like a 7 and you need to be at a 3. So do you have any questions about, for me, like what you can play to sort of play tastefully but play a little less? That's what I would do. But it all comes with it comes with leadership. You have to have good leadership. Okay. Sorry, guys. Colin says, can you answer my question, Brian? Brian, please. I'm sorry. These questions are coming real fast. I'm sorry. I missed it. If you could ask again, I'll try and catch it. Sorry, Colin. Martin Shelton says, why does my reverb sound terrible on my overdrive channel? I will tell you, Martin, because you are overdriving the reverb. So amps have effects loops for a reason. So when an amp has an effects loop, that means you're inserting an effect after the drive. So a lot of people will set their amp clean and then run overdrive pedals and put the reverb after it. So if you put reverb in front of overdrive, it's going to sound kind of gross. So what you're probably doing, I don't know, but what I would assume you're doing is you have an amp that has multiple channels and you're switching to a gain channel, which is cool because usually that sounds better than an overdrive pedal. But that means if you're running a pedal board straight into it, that means your reverb is in front of your overdrive, which doesn't sound great. It can sound cool with delay. Usually you don't want it with delay, but a lot of times when reverb does that, it doesn't sound good at all. So if your amp has an effects loop, try and run that so that your reverb and delays are in the effects loop and that your overdrives are in front of your amp. So you're pushing the amp with drive, and then all your reverb and time-based effects, delay, reverb, is in the effects loop after the drive. It's basically between the preamp and the speaker, you know. So that's my suggestion. Okay. Let's see. Colin, did you re-ask your question for me? I'm looking for it. There's a delay. I do know there's a delay here when from the video to like when you're actually seeing it. So I don't see comments until a little bit after. Okay. Josh says Strat or Telecaster. There's a Telecaster. Here's a Strat. The answer is yes. I love them both. They're both awesome guitars. I don't know. You have to make that decision for yourself. Augustine says, is Worship Tutorials hiring? Maybe. I don't have a place to send a resume yet. Okay. Colin says, can I make a video on running my own personal soundboard with the in-ears connected to the house board? Oh, okay. Colin, I have never done that. I do know a lot of bands use a separate board for in-ear mixes, but I've never done that. So what we use on in our setup is our boards have effects, or have sends, not effect sends, but they have sends. So each send is like an in-ear mix, and so everyone has their own in-ear mix where they can mix everything themselves. Some boards have like 4 of them. Some boards, like our board, has 16. So we have a Behringer X32. I think it has 16 sends. So 16 people can have their own in-ear mix. You have to run those all to like in-ear headphone amps. But that's how we do it. So I do actually mix my own in-ears. So I guess I could talk a little bit about that. But I don't have a separate board for it. That would take a lot of cabling to do that, to do it right. So, okay. Guys, it is 5:06. I need to end the live stream here pretty soon. Marcus Couch says, have I been told that I look like Matthew West? I have been told that before. Yes, it's one that that is a comment that I have received. Whether that's a compliment or not depends on what you think of Matthew West. I'm just going to assume Matthew West is an extraordinarily handsome man and that I kind of look like him. I'll receive that. Okay. So, Brian is a 63 Vibroverb Fender, a good amp for worship. Alva, no, it's terrible. You should send it to me and I'll take that off your hands. I'll even do it for free. Yeah, that would be a sweet amp. Any amp, like a classic Fender amp, are great for this because a lot of them are really good pedal platforms. I'm more familiar with a Vibrolux, so I don't know what a Vibroverb is. I would assume maybe it's the same thing with just reverb on it, but anyway, I don't know. Like I said, I'll send you my address. You can send it to me, and I'll receive that because it's terrible. You don't want that. I'm just kidding. It's really good. Okay. How often do I sing Reckless Love at my church? Cyril asks. It's a newer song for us, so we sing it pretty often, maybe once a month or so, every 3 weeks. Okay. Let's see. How do I deal with worship team members that don't have the same vision or drive as you, and that's all you have? Luke, I think that was Luke that asked that. This is a great question. That would be a good question for the Worship Leader Wednesday videos I do with Fuller. So we actually refilmed 2 Worship Leader Wednesday videos today. One of them was how to recruit more people to your team, how to get more people on your team. The other one was how to let somebody go when they're not a good fit for you anymore. Not having the same drive or passion for the vision is probably not valid enough reason. In that case, I would say it's your job, if you're the worship leader, to inspire that in them. So talk to them about the vision. Talk to them about why it's so important, why it's important that they're bought into it. And and then you can ask them a question like, hey, if this is not something you want to be a part of, that's okay. We can take a season off. But yeah, I would say that's the job of the leader to we call it cast the vision, to cast a compelling vision, so that the people will follow. And that's very biblical. Marcus says, "Go do a collaboration with Matthew West." I don't have Matthew West's phone number or email. You can't just reach out to him. So that would be fun though. Okay, like, people on the internet say I look like you, so I think we should sing a song together. You'd be like, yeah, who are you? Okay, all right. So Joel says your ministry is life-giving. Joel, I so much appreciate that. Thank you. The reason that worship tutorials exist, that I do this, is so that every church in the world would have worship that is excellent and authentic. I think those are maybe the two of the most important things that we can bring to the table when we lead worship, is excellence, to do things as excellent as we possibly can to the best of our abilities, and to be authentic, to be because our culture, culture in general, people see through a hypocrite, in a second. And so if your heart's not where where you say that you are, that's a bad thing. And you can do those two things without any budget, without a huge team. You can be the best you can be, with whatever you've got. You can practice, you can prepare, you can raise people up. That doesn't take any money. It just takes time and effort. And you can be authentic. It's not easy, it's hard, but you can do those two things. Okay, and I'm here to help you. All right. What worship bands do I listen to? Simon Nader says. I mostly listen to the songs that we do at my church. And it's, Hillsong, Bethel Music, Elevation. I really like the new Belonging Company album. That was the song that I sang at the beginning of this stream. It's really good. There's a lot of stuff out there that's really... I love Passion stuff, Chris Tomlin, all the classic kind of stuff I like. That's what I listen to the most. Jensen says I should do giveaways. I am going to do some giveaways. I don't see it right now. I have a LR Bags Venue DI to give away. That's coming really soon. I'm going to do that soon. So one of you guys can win that. They're great preamps. They're like $300 acoustic guitar preamp. I have that. I've been thinking for a while it'd be really cool to buy a couple budget electric guitars and review them and then give them away. Just to show people, like, you can get a lot of guitar for the money. For like between $300 and $400, especially used. So it'd be kind of cool to do that and then do some giveaways. Okay. All right, guys, it's 5:15-ish. I'm going to sign off. And it's been awesome hanging out with y'all today. I'm going to play this electric guitar that you can't... I'm not amplifying it. One of these days, before the next time, I'm going to figure out how to get it so you can hear this thing. I don't know, it was working earlier. There it is. You probably can't hear it, but I just turned it on. It sounds awesome. Just so you know. I can just describe the way it sounds. Really good. Anyway. Yeah, so guys, thanks for hanging out with me. I'm going to try and end this gracefully. I never end this thing very well. So we'll see. Hopefully I'm still here. No, I'm still here. Okay. So, what should I say to end? Props to you and your channel. Thank you, Jensen. Thank you, Jensen. I appreciate it. But yeah, like I said, thank you guys so much for hanging out. Thank you for being like an awesome community. So when I upload videos, all the comments and stuff, I may not respond to every comment, but I try and read most every comment. And I really appreciate all of you guys and the way that you contribute and that kind of thing. Like I said, live videos are going to be a thing here. We're going to keep doing them. The next one will probably be next Friday. So anyway, I hope you guys have a great weekend wherever you are. Thank you for tuning in. See you next time.